Hello and welcome to the Daily Dominion for December 11th, 2024. Today we've got Intrigue and Empires. And we've got Steward Trashing. We've got Encampment as the only plus actions with Bridge. Ooh. Alright. That's gonna be a thing. Limited draw as well outside of Encampment with Wishing Well. I mean Courtyard, but we don't really want to spend terminal space on Courtyard if we can help it. Anyway, we're gonna open with a Steward. And then so we could go ahead and take an Encampment now. Obviously, we're not going to be able to keep that encampment. It would just be to help us like find our steward and stuff. But I wonder if it's better for us to take a Wishing Well as a card that we can actually expect to keep in the deck. Because the thing is, it's not like we need to hit like 5 or something like that. I mean, if we did hit 6 to get a gold, we would probably want to do that, but that's not going to happen anyway, so not really worth worrying about. Yeah, I actually think we just go with Wishing Well. All right, and again. Well, this could have gone better. But now we will, of course, take an encampment since we only have 2 coins anyway. Chariot Race. I don't think Chariot Race is important here. So we could potentially avoid firing off this encampment, but I don't think it's worth it. We have 1 more estate down there, and we just drew it. Okay, that makes things quite a bit simpler. Unfortunately, you have these 5 coins, but unfortunately it's hard for us to really take advantage of that. The annoying thing is now, I mean, not that we would have had any encampments kept anyway, but like what we kind of want is plus buy. We can't play plus buy and play steward without an encampment in our deck, and we don't have an encampment in our deck. Like, we could go ahead and get a bridge. And then maybe next turn we could manage to get gold encampment. It's unlikely, but it's, I think, possible. Or on the flip side, like, you know, maybe we end up just buying like double encampment or something, and then I don't know. I think right now bridge is gonna do the most. Like, it's awkward, but it, like, just buying an encampment doesn't seem right. We could buy another Wishing Well, but that doesn't really help too much. All right, so I guess they got it trashing. The AI like returned an encampment, bought an encampment, but I guess it did. Oh, it got a VP. All right. Anyway, so we have 2 coppers still down there. We found our bridge. We'd rather see copper. I mean, we can still do what I was talking about, which is buy encampment gold. think we should. All right, now I think we just wish for copper, actually. Yeah, even though we're not going to do anything with it. That defiled shrine pile is getting pretty big, but I don't think we want to touch it. All right. We have steward down there. We have encampment, and we have copper. We don't need see the encampment. Yeah. We're still trashing here. So we could buy encampment plunder. I think we want to do that. Like having the extra insurance on the encampments, I think will be good. Encampment on top, huh? Awkward. I think I'm actually just going to trash 2 and otherwise pass the turn. It is unfortunate because I would have actually bought Defiled Shrine here, I think. But encampment gets returned. I think this is where we really just run away with this. Now the question is, the question is, do we need another plunder / gold? Or do we go for another bridge? Like obviously, from a draw standpoint, every one of these we add, reduces how much draw we're getting. But we do really want to hang on to these encampments. Yeah, honestly, I think we do take one more plunder. And then next turn, we plan to buy like Bridge Wishing Well. I think we can afford to play it safe. I mean, we could buy the last plunder. I don't really think there's much reason to do that. We could. I mean, we have the actions that we could buy double bridge here. Maybe we just go ahead and do that. Yeah, so they've now got 3 plunders to our 2 plunders and a gold, and 2 bridges with 1 in. Yeah, and it's like they understand like that you need these things to succeed on the board, but they don't have the encampments to actually make it work. Okay. All right, 4 buys. We've got 1 more action to play with. 2 more if we don't play the steward. So, like, we can certainly take 1 more bridge. So let's do that. And then do we just slam Wishing Wells? There is, like, it does have the potential to hurt our encampments, like adding the Wishing Wells, but I think on net it's still something that we want to do. Let's see. We've got right now. We could also put a bunch of chariot races into our deck just for, like, the potential to have the payload. They trashed that curse. They have. So they haven't. They have a copper left. Like, we certainly haven't needed the Wishing Well draw to this point. Having the extra coins is going to do much until we want a green, though. Like, we have 11 coins. We spent 1 on this bridge. Like, you know. What is... We're going to... So next turn, we should have 5 buys. I'm wondering if we just have to, like, buy provinces over 2 turns. We could get to 6 buys if we can avoid playing the steward. And just play 5 bridges. At which point, I don't know, how impactful is that? I mean, they're also not gonna keep drawing. So, like, if we play like a bit of a, like, slower burn thing and start building up VP with chariot race and plunder, like, even though they have more plunders, like, we should get there eventually. Maybe for now we split the difference and go, like, double chariot race Wishing Well or something. There is some synergy between Wishing Well and chariot race as well. You really got 2 bridges into play? And didn't have to return an encampment? Crazy. Alright. Let's just name... I guess encampment. Okay. We have 1 encampment down there. We have a gold. We have a chariot race. We have bridge. 2 bridges? Oh. It revealed a bridge, so we can't win this chariot race, I believe. Yeah. Okay. They can only play 2 bridges. They only have 3 buys, so even though piles are low, there's not actually, like, an immediate threat. So we could just keep on with this stuff. Maybe we take a province. That is a target for chariot race, if nothing else. We could even consider getting a mill as well that can discard it. Like province, mill. Maybe like one more chariot race. One more wishing well. Another mill. Man, they are really. Oh wait, never mind. They played a whole bunch of chariot races before they won one. Okay, never mind. All right, what did we have on top? Bridge. Yeah, see, this is the problem with adding all this extra crap. It's like now we don't see our encampments. Um. Mm, I don't think it makes sense to discard here when. Like, really? Really? I mean, this isn't really because of this stuff. It's because we just drew too many of the stop cards, but okay. Well, we can grab another province, and then we have a points lead, so I guess that's fine. Encampment on top. Oh, that's not going to help with... They return their encampment. Okay. We saw plunder and the gold last turn. That's not great. Well, nah. Okay, we return one encampment, they return an encampment. I guess in the end it's fine. Do we plan to play... I mean, we never got a fifth bridge, right? So... I think we play this steward for draw. Although, we do have another chariot race down there. We have encampment down there. We have a couple wishing wells. We have a mill. We have a gold and a plunder. All right, we'd really like to see the mill at this point. Did they reveal? Chariot race. Okay. All right, well that works. This is gold. All right, I would think we have a win here. Oh no, we have an encampment that we're returning. Right. Well, wait, what about with Salty Earth? No, there's 5 provinces left. So not quite. I mean, we can just buy a bunch of provinces. It's probably the most straightforward thing to do. Yeah, provinces cost the same as salt the earth, so of course it doesn't really help. Dupe, 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 dupe. All right. We get the encampment back. I think so. Like, we've got a big enough points lead. They're not coming back on that. We just want to make sure that we hit province here. Wait, they'll do that? Huh. They got surprisingly close, actually. How did it get so close? I guess encampment on top, point. Yeah. This game was closer than it probably should have been. I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's tricky to find a way to press the advantage here because, like, you can get a bunch of bridges, but not, like, quite enough. And, like, the encampments do hurt the chariot race thing. I mean, I said I didn't think it was going to be a relevant card, and I don't know. You could argue that one way or another, I guess. Like, I ended up taking... I mean, how many of these points came from chariot race versus plunder, right? Like, I only won by 6. I don't know. But, I mean, a bunch of these points were from Defiled Shrine. Some of them were for plunder. Like, I'm not sure how much of those were from chariot race, but... yeah, I mean, it's possible that what I should have done is once I got to, like, the 4-bridge state, just buy provinces. Don't even bother with this stuff. My reasoning was that if I hold my deck together, you know, for longer, like, don't worry about, like, oh, I bought a bunch of provinces now, you know, there's like 4 provinces left or something, and then I lose all my encampments and my deck falls apart. Like, there's potentially opportunity for comeback there. Whereas if I buy this stuff and then, like, keep my deck together and then buy the provinces later, you know, like, maybe I can pile out on a win, you know. And I mean, that probably still would have been possible. Like, I didn't, going into the, you know, I could have not lowered piles that, you know, like, to the point where, like, because like I said before, I only could play 2 bridges in a turn anyway. Actually, I couldn't even do that because it, like, lost its encampment, so it was never going to be able to get more than 2 buys. So it wasn't like it was in a position to threaten a win anyway. So I could have just gone, like, you know, again, I could have just gone, like, give me the encampment, give me some wishing wells and mills, whatever. But with there being, you know, with us having already lowered provinces, it seemed like more straightforward to take the provinces. But yeah, so I mean, there's probably, on the one hand, it's like awkward how to press the advantage, but on the other hand, it's like you're never really very threatened because, like, they just have such limited ability to control the end game. And you can always, like, at some point just buy a whole bunch of provinces, and, like, that's gonna, that they're not gonna be able to compete with that in a short time frame. So if you time it, you know, it all correctly, it'll work out. But yeah, a little bit awkward, but it, you know, it's fine, I guess. And even then, like, I did have that dud turn, although I did buy a province, but, like, I think that was still at that point, like, pretty unlikely. It wasn't really any more likely than it had been before, because, let's see if I can find that. Yeah, so at this point, like, the previous turn, I did buy a province in a mill. And then, oh, well, okay, province, mill, chariot race. So I bought a province, so I added 1 stop card to my deck. So we'd had the same, you know, plunder, gold, the bridges, and the steward. We'd had those same stop cards in our deck for a while. Added 1 province, and then here, you know, we just, like, don't see encampment. So that wasn't, it was a little bit more likely, but it wasn't much more likely than it had been. So, you know, it might have also been a bigger gap if we had had a better turn that turn. But, you know, like, I said, like, because they weren't they didn't have the ability to threaten the end of the game anyway, it didn't really matter. Yeah. The Defiled Shrine thing, so they did, I assume, have a copper in their deck at the end, yeah. Yeah, like, their deck is really pretty bad. It just doesn't do a whole lot, but somehow they were, like, if you look at this, like, their ability to score off of Cherry Race here should be pretty poor, actually. They have a copper, they have an estate. Oh, that they probably got the estate at the end. Okay, that doesn't count. But they had the copper. They only had the one province right at the end. The other one, I think they got, like, pretty late. It's like, yeah. So over the last turn, so like before that, they weren't playing with the province. They didn't have a gold. They had a lot of 3 costs, right? They had bridges that they couldn't play. So yeah, it's surprising that they got as many Chariot Race points as they did. I mean, again, I don't know exactly how many they got, but I will say it's weird to me that they did this because, I mean, I guess I only needed to hit 4 to be able to take the last province, like, with Salty Earth. But, like, looking at this hand, it's like, is it possible that I don't? Maybe it's not actually possible, because even though I have 3 provinces in my hand, well, I mean, I could have had a hand with, like, I could have had a worse hand than this in theory. This hand is pretty bad, and if I were to play this encampment and draw, like, another province, because I did have 6 provinces. I could have drawn 2 more provinces. I could have played the Steward for draw, but, like, I don't know that it's impossible that I could completely whiff here. I mean, I guess the flip side is, like, what are they going to do? They buy, like, a duchy and they're still more than a province down. But, you know, you might win some chariot races. I don't know. It's surprising to me that the AI, like, literally gives up and is like, because surely its chances to win are more than 0%. Like, even if they're very low. And I would expect it to play to its outs, but I don't know. Anyway, well, there you have it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.